இருக்கீங்களோ? கிசான் கிரெடிட் கார்டு சொல்லவே இல்லையே நீங்க சொல்றீங்க. நோ ப்ராப்ளம். ஓகே ஃபைன். So we discussed what is organic agriculture. Good afternoon. Shall we start? So shall we start, students? Yes, we can start. Audio, video, all fine for the online students. Okay, we started with organic farming. So sustainable agriculture பார்த்துட்டோம் இல்லையா? We saw sustainable agriculture, right? So in simple understanding, sustainability means we use both organic plus inorganic. At the same time, it is not 100% toxic free. That is very important. Toxic free, that is fine. So which has a minimal impact on environment or agriculture ecosystem. So understand that before going for organic agriculture. So in organic agriculture, I told you we use only organics. We don't use chemicals. So which means that I already told you it is 100% toxic free or it is completely environment friendly. 100% environment friendly. So this all we discussed. We all discussed these things. So I already told you, that getting organic certification involves two systems in India. One, I told you, it is NPOP, then PGS. So we stopped with this, I guess. So NPOP or PGS, the standardization procedure is given by FSSAI. So the Food Safety Standards Authority of India, Food Safety Standards Authority of India is the regulatory body for issuing organic certificates. Is a regulatory body. So they have set the standards. Fine. So we have two types of certification. First is called as NPOP, National Program for Organic Production. National Program for முடிச்சிட்டோமா? Okay, fine. APEDA, fine. Then PGS. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Okay, then we will start with NPOP. Fine. We will start with NPOP. So NPOP. So this NPOP is called as third party certification process, or this works under the principle of third party certification. Third party certification. So what do you mean by third party certification? Normally, if a farmer, if he is interested in doing organic certification, he can either go to NPOP or PGS. I told you these things. So in NPOP, we call it as third party certification. What do you mean by third party certification is that, suppose if I am an entrepreneur, I'm interested in doing organic certification. So I will join for an organic certification course at APEDA. So APEDA will train me in organic certification procedures, standards, etc. It will be around 6 to 1 year course, or based on the type of course we are selecting. So a rigorous training will be given to me. So I will be a businessman who is interested in doing organic certification. So after getting the required training, so we do not know how many is that, that is not so important, maybe 2 years or half year or 1 year, that is not so important for us. So we will get good training. After training, then I will start my own business, organic certification business. So now I am a third party certifying agency or third party certifying party. So I will act as a party for the government of India, for APEDA, or for Ministry of Commerce and Industries. So on behalf of these three bodies, I will act as a certifying body. So now the government will not issue any direct certificates to these farmers. Suppose if this is a farmer Y, he is interested in exporting a commodity For example, he is exporting Alfonso mangoes, but Alfonso mangoes are premium priced. Organic Alfonso mangoes are even more premium priced. So this Y farmer is interested in producing organic mangoes. So what he will do, he will come to me because I am a businessman who has this organic certification uh, license. So he will come to me. Why will come to me? And I will give him training for 3 or 4 months on organic certification. How he must do, how he must take the care of the products, how he must do the processing, how he must apply organic fertilizers, etc. After getting training, this person will go to his field and he will start organic production. So he will start producing organic mangoes. So it is my duty to monitor whether he is doing the organic process as per the standards given by FSSAI. So I am doing on behalf of Government of India, that is for the Ministry of Commerce and Industries and for the body APIDA. So once I am satisfied, I can issue him the certificate organic certified. So that is called as India Organic. So what certificate he will be given is called as India Organic. India Organic, that will be the certificate he will be given with. So suppose if he is getting this India Organic certificate, which means that it is a certificate he has got through a third party licensing party on behalf of Ministry of Commerce and Industries through APIDA. So this India Organic products are capable for getting exported. So what is the specialty of this India Organic is this can be exported to the foreign destination. For example, European Union, they will accept only India Organic, or United States Department of Agriculture, they will accept only India Organic, or Middle East countries. Last year, 2-3 years before, the Middle East countries rejected Indian mangoes, citing fruit fly issues. So now when we are going for this India Organic, they will accept our Indian mangoes. So like that, all the international developed countries will accept only India Organic certified organic products. So this is for export. But unfortunately, this is very costlier, because getting certification, doing all the process, everything is a bit costly and also a time consuming and also requires more skill, etc. It is more of scientific. So normal farmers cannot do this. Normal farmers cannot do this. So for him we have this PGS system, participatory guarantee scheme. So this scheme works on the principle of mutual trust and goodwill. So this works on the principle of mutual trust and goodwill. This is completely a different concept from the third party certification, what we see under NPOP. So what is mutual trust and goodwill? Suppose there are 3 farmers, X1, X2 and X3. So these farmers are interested in doing organic certification. So what they will do, either they can go to NPOP, but I told you NPOP is laborious, costlier, more of science and skill oriented. So it is not easy for them to follow all these things because they don't have enough capital to invest on those things. So what they will do, they will go for PGS system. So what they will do, they will go to nearest agricultural institutions, maybe a agricultural office institution, whatever maybe the nearest agricultural institution. Then there they will get registered for PGS system. Once they get registered, they can produce organic products. So they will be given a minimal training of 1 or 2 weeks. They will be given a minimal organics training of 1 or 2 weeks, not like a rigorous one what we give under NPOP. They will be given a minimal training only. So after getting trained, these 3 will start their operation. X1 will start, X2 will start and X3 will start producing organic products. So once the process is completed, then who will issue the certification? This is the concept called as mutual trust and goodwill. So now what happens, how the monitoring or how the surveillance happens. So X1 will monitor X2 field, X2 will monitor X3 field. Mutually they do monitoring on trust, which means that they themselves can certify their products. So if X1 is convinced on X2 and X3, he will give certificate to X2 and X3. So like that mutually they can self-certify themselves. Which means that they do not have to go to any agriculture institutions or government bodies to get certified. Only based on their own personal satisfaction, they can issue a certificate for themselves. But under only one condition, that is they should have approached the local agricultural institutions or agricultural body for getting registered. So that is how PGS is working, which means that PGS is mostly on this concept, mutual trust and goodwill. The problem is foreign countries or developed nations do not agree to this system because they don't agree with the mutual trust or goodwill of Indian farmers, which means that they know Indian farmers are more trickier than anyone in this world, right? So they can do n number of malpractices. So in the name of organic, they may send any toxic products. So which means that no developed countries will accept this PGS system for export. So only for domestic consumption we can use this PGS certified products. For example, you want to sell an organic mango within India, then instead of going for NPOP, you can go for PGS system because it is very much cheaper compared to NPOP. So for that alone, you will be given a different logo. Did I say that logo? So that is called as Jaivik Bharat. Jaivik Bharat. So this is for the PGS produced organic products. PGS produced organic products. Jaivik Bharat. So this is how the organic certification is done in India. So either NPOP or PGS system. NPOP is costlier, PGS system is cheaper and can be done by the normal Indian farmers. Fine. We all emotional. We didn't see this. Fine. Then we will move with hydroponics. So what do you mean by hydroponics? Okay, fine. So these are all called as vertical farming. These are all called as vertical farming. In the first class itself, I told you vertical farming. Did we see that? Vertical farming. So these are the concepts now evolving as vertical farming. So the plants will be grown in a soilless medium. So this can be also called as soilless agriculture. So we can use either water. In hydroponics, we are using water as a substitute for soil or sand. So here water will be the medium for growth of the plants. So it will be under a glass house. So in agriculture we call it as protected agriculture. So everything will happen under a controlled environment. Protected agriculture. Fine. Everything will happen under a controlled environment, which means that this is more risk. This is less riskier because the pest and diseases are not a problem here. The diseases won't come here. Then disaster won't happen here because suppose high drought or flood, whatever happens, this is not going to get affected by any of the natural calamities because this is happening everything in a controlled setup, and the yield will be also very high. And above all, this is happening in a protected agriculture system, which means that this has more skill to be involved, more science to be involved, and more capital to be involved. So it is not possible for a normal Indian farmer, but this is the future of Indian agriculture because all the developed countries have moved towards this soilless agriculture. Why soilless agriculture has become very important? First thing is shrinkage of land. I told you in the first class itself, where we decided for land consolidation, but unfortunately what is happening, land fragmentation is happening. So instead of land consolidation, we are heading towards land fragmentation. So for land fragmentation, what is the only solution? Go for the usage of vertical spaces. So we have to start use like skyscrapers. We have to use the vertical spaces because earlier buildings were all horizontal. So what we decided, so instead of using building in the horizontal spaces, we start building on the vertical spaces. Then only the skyscrapers concept evolved. So like that, now we are using agriculture like skyscrapers, where we will be using the vertical spaces. And also we are not dependent on soil because soil is more contaminated, toxic, etc. So instead we are going for the soilless agriculture. Here water will be mixed with nutrients. So very important. Hydroponics means where the nutrients will be given. The nutrients will be mixed in the water. So this water will be a nutrient mixed water that will be given to the plant because alone with water they cannot survive. So they need nutrients. This is what is called as hydroponics, and this is called as aeroponics. So what do you mean by aeroponics? So here air is the growing medium. Air will be the growing medium. So how air can substitute a plant growth? Any idea? Air normally is there everywhere. So if you place a seed in the air, can a seed grow? Then where comes the nutrients for these plants? I told in hydroponics the nutrient comes from water. So we will mix. Then for air, how to mix the nutrients? So what we do, we use some mistifiers. So what we do, normal water is converted as water vapor using mistifiers. So water is converted as water vapor. This water is nothing but a nutrient enriched water. A nutrient enriched water is converted as a mistifier. So now it is nothing but a air with 90% of moisture with nutrient embedded into it. That is what is called as aeroponics. See here, the roots are all having no substitute or no substratum. No substrate, which means that they don't rest on any soil or any water or anything. They are just hanging on the air. So only the moisture enriched air is giving the nutrient medium, that is the nutrition and also the growing platform for the plants. So that is called as aeroponics. That is called as aeroponics. And again, all these concepts are more scientific in nature, which means that it is not possible for Indian farmers. Right now, India only less than 0.1% of Indian farmers or businessmen are doing this. But in Israel and all, this is their common agriculture techniques. That is why Israel is more pioneer in modern agriculture techniques. They have even gone more than these things. Fine. Then comes biophonics. Bioponics. So this is nothing different to hydroponics. This is same like hydroponics, nothing but same like hydroponics. Hydroponics. Same to hydroponics. Then what is the difference here? The only difference here is the nutrient what we use here is only organic. Simple. The nutrient what we use here is only organic. So organic manures, organic fertilizers, organic pesticides, organic fungicides, all being used here and not the fertilizers, chemical fertilizers. In hydroponics, we use both organic as well as inorganic. So when we restrict our nutrient only for organic sources, then the terminology alone is called as what? Biophonics. Other than that, everything is one and the same. Everything is one and the same. Bioponics. Then comes mariculture. Anyone know what is mariculture? And what marine related? Marry means marine. See, some questions like why water has been replaced with air. What is the advantage of going for aeroponics over hydroponics? Simple. See, water, when it is converted air, even more the resource use efficiency will be higher. So when we use water, the water has to be again replenished. It has to be again fed into new aspects. Here, when water is converted into air, the water use efficiency will be very high. Here, the nutrient will take only the moisture from the air, which means that even with small amount of water, we can grow enormous amount of plants. So here, the resource use efficiencies are very high. Resource use efficiency are very high. Simple. To more utilize the resources. Simple. That's the answer for this. So fine. What is mariculture? Culturing marine organism in a controlled manner. So controlled manner, where? That is the difference. See, normally aquaculture means so growing the marine organisms in both inland as well as on marine areas. So that is aquaculture. So culturing marine organisms like fishes, etc., in both inland as well as on shores, that is on marine aspects. That is called as aquaculture. Mariculture is only this one. So growing marine organisms in a controlled condition in an open sea, in an open ocean. So mariculture means growing fishes and all other marine organisms. Like seaweed, fishes, seaweed or sea algae, algae, etc. See, seaweed and all is like what we eat as greens. That is for the Indonesian people, for the people in Southeast Asia. For them, seaweed is like what we eat greens. For them, it is more a staple food, seaweeds. So they use mariculture to grow all these seaweeds, fishes, sea algae, etc. in a controlled ocean, in a controlled ocean water or sea water, in a controlled ocean or sea water. So there will be some cages like this, controlled cages, where the sea water will be closed with some cages, and within that they will grow the fishes or the sea algae or the seaweeds, etc., what they want, or the whatever may be, like prawns, etc., whatever it may be. So they will grow there. So which means that on a controlled basis we are doing aquaculture in an open ocean, here we are not taking to inland, we are doing that only in the ocean, which means that the fishermen, normally what happens in Tamil Nadu, they normally cross the boundary for Sri Lanka to do fishing, because of this availability of fish in this Mannar area, which is more closer to the boundary of Sri Lanka. So to avoid those things, we can say this mariculture as a recommendation for saving Indian fishermen from the being assaulted by the Sri Lankan Navy or Sri Lankan Army. So we can say this as a remedial measures. So this is called as mariculture. So a simple thing, we are using water, ocean water as a growing medium, ocean water as growing, because I told you everything why we are so much interested. The only thing is that the shrinkage of land, and ocean is available on a vast basis, so we can use ocean as wish as possible. The only limitation here is that we cannot do beyond 12 nautical miles. Why is that? The mariculture can be practiced from the shoreline to 12 nautical miles, because it is our territorial. Yeah, even close spot, it is only our territorial water. So beyond 12 nautical miles, so we cannot go. So we will breach the territorial water, which means that it is our marine boundary, not normal boundary, it is our marine boundary. So 12 nautical miles, that is our territorial water. So beyond that, we should not go to this contiguous zone. So that is the problematic area. So only up to 12 nautical miles we can go for this mariculture. So this is mariculture. So again, not practiced in India, it is completely practiced Western countries. So we discussed PDS la mudichitomla, mudikaliya? National Food Security Act mudichitom illaya? Okay, that we all finished. Then we discussed about this public distribution, so revamped PDS, targeted PDS, etc. Okay, fine. So we will see, we didn't discuss PDS. Okay, fine. So in continuation of National Food Security Program, so in continuation of National Food Security Program, so all these National Food Security Program and all the schemes what we saw as National Food Security Program can be enacted only if we have a robust public distribution system. So when we don't have a robust public distribution system, then we cannot follow any of these policies. Fine. Then how public distribution system evolved? Do you know when this public distribution system evolved in India? Any idea? 1990s. Then any idea when this got evolved in India? What may be the history of PDS system in India? So it is during the World Wars. It was during the World Wars. The PDS system was initiated by the British government. It was not initiated by the Indian administration. It was by the British administration. Why? To feed the war soldiers. So initially the public distribution system was started to feed the war soldiers, the Indian war soldiers, the British Indian war soldiers, etc. Then after independence, we diverted PDS for the common public. But unfortunately, what happened? The PDS system was mostly located on urban centers, which means that not the intention is good, which means that to feed the people who are under famine or under poverty, etc. But unfortunately, this was limited to a local centers or some small urban centers. Not all the people are benefited out of this PDS system. Then we decided to revamp our PDS system in 1992. 1992. So that is called as revamped PDS system. Revamped PDS system. This is called as revamped PDS system. So what we decided to do under this revamped PDS system is that we tried to establish PDS system in hilly areas. First thing. Second, in SC/ST dominated areas. Second, third, on backward regions. In rural areas, etc. So which means that we are trying to expand the reach of PDS system within the Indian geography. We are trying to expand. This is what is called as revamp. But still, the problem with Indian PDS system is that the problem is heavy corruption. So PDS system is one of the heavily corrupted body in India. Second, many errors. We call it as exclusionary and inclusionary errors. Exclusionary or inclusionary errors, which means that the people who are not needed any requirements are given inclusion. People who are needed requirements are given exclusion into this scheme, which means that the targeted people are excluded or the non-needed people are included. That is what we call as exclusionary and inclusionary principles. Fine. Okay. So not only these things, and again, diversion, loss of food grains. Diversion means the food commodity is diverted for non-PDS purposes. That is again a type of corruption. For example, looting away, hoarding of these food grains, etc. will be happening. Then spoilage of food grains. Everything is a big problem. So because of all this, we tried to modernize our PDS. Then we move to this concept, targeted PDS system. The only thing how it is differentiated from revamped PDS system is that now we are targeting our groups. That is, one is BPL and second group is what? APL. Below poverty line, above poverty line. So these are the targets. So now we will be targeting whom? Only the people under BPL. So under National Food Security Act, the central government has a mandate that all the Indian 28 states plus the union territories must have a minimum of targeted PDS system in their state, which means that under National Food Security Act, all the state should have moved to where targeted PDS system from revamped PDS system. So that is the mandate of National Food Security Act. Now all the states and union territories in India have moved to targeted PDS system under National Food Security Act, which means that we are targeting the consumers like BPL and non-BPL. But again, I told this BPL is not easy to identify because we don't know what is exactly the meaning of BPL, because one committee has given one recommendation, one committee other recommendation, and again practically if we see 30 rupees per day is not a it's not a big amount for the normal people to enjoy a normal luxurious life, not a luxurious life, normally a basic standard of living. So which means that we have to still move from this targeted PDS system. That is the reason why some governments like Tamil Nadu government, Kerala government has moved to this concept, universal PDS system. So we are moving ahead of the National Food Security Act. So universal PDS system. So entire country is having targeted, but some few states are moving towards this universal PDS system, like Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Chhattisgarh. So these are the pioneer states in universal PDS system. So what do you mean by universal PDS system? All the resident of that particular state, will have access to the local PDS shop. Will have access to the local PDS shops. Local PDS shop. That is what is called as universal PDS system. Universal PDS system, which means that in Tamil Nadu everyone will be having what? Ration card, smart ration cards. So we can get any type of commodities. If we are coming under Antodaya Anna Yojana, we will get 35 kilograms rice. If we have this, if we come in this APL, we will get only sugar and some other commodities like pulses, etc. So everyone will have some access, but no one can be denied what? Entry into this PDS system. If you are even a multi-millionaire, you should have what? Ration card. You should be having access to the public distribution system, because in terms of disaster, no money is going to help you, right? Only this public distribution system is going to feed you food. So that is the reason why some government has moved towards this universal PDS system. Fine. So some states like Tamil Nadu and Chhattisgarh have even a robust PDS system in the country. Have robust PDS system in the country. So we are a pioneer states in public distribution system. So we have this end-to-end computerization. End-to-end computerization. That is, complete PDS system has been embedded with information communication technology, ICT technology. So from the source of the food grain, that is rice, where we are getting from the farmers, it will be digitally recorded. Then where it is moving, it will be GPS tracked. It will be GPS tracked. Suppose if you are taking the food grains in lorries, all the lorries must have GPS tracking machines, which means that the food grains cannot be diverted. That is very important, because that is the biggest problem with corruption. I told you, no, that's the biggest problem with Indian PDS system, because corruption, where the food grains are diverted. For example, Tamil Nadu food grains normally diverted to Kerala. So now it cannot happen because it is all GPS tracked. Then we have EPO system at the point of sale. At the point of sale, which means that we can use a smart card and a digital payment system for getting the commodities. Then we will get this SMS alerts. We will get this SMS alerts, which means that you don't have to stand in a line for PDS system. You just will get a SMS. So and so date you can come and get so much kilograms of rice. We have the stock for your family needs. So we can go only on that particular time and particular date. So we don't have to wait. Normally what happens earlier, now we will go stand in a line. Suppose after mid of the line they will be putting the board that is the stock is out of, that stock is over, which means that again we have to come back on the other day. It will not be on the same other day. It will be like next week some other day, which is again a big problem. For 1 week what we will be doing? We cannot have any food, right? So to all rectify all these things, we will have this robust SMS alerts. Then under National Food Security Act, the most demanded thing is that doorstep delivery. Doorstep delivery. So no state has done this one. So according to National Food Security Act, the ration items must be delivered at doorsteps. EPOS, electronic point of sale machines. Electronic point of sale machines. EPOS. EPOS means electronic point of sale machines. That is the one what we have this payment for this using this debit card, credit card. No, that is what is called as point of sale machines. EPOS machines. Yeah, not C, EPOS machines. Sorry, EPOS, electronic point of sale machines. Got it? So fine. So doorstep delivery, but no state has gone to this step. So only during this corona time, some government did this. Kerala government this doorstep delivery. Karnataka government this. Andhra Pradesh this. Yeah, Andhra Pradesh only during corona time they did. Andhra Pradesh only during corona time they did, but normally they don't have this doorstep delivery. I guess maybe from Andhra Pradesh means you can ensure my Harini, you can ensure my doubt, because only during corona time I think it was given on online. I mean that's doorstep. On other times it is only normally we have to only go. So now the entire country has moved towards what? Is going to move towards this one. What is that? One nation, one ration card system. Oh, good. Then it is good. So Andhra Pradesh, they are giving doorstep. I think maybe the first state to give this doorstep delivery. They started during this pandemic, maybe continuing again. Fine, good. So now we are moving to this one nation, one ration card system. What do you mean one nation, one ration card system?
Ration card for all. I mean, because to all states, you can use the ration card to all.
So So here we are moving towards inter and intrastate portability. Inter and intrastate portability. So what it means, the entire PDS system is going into ICT mode or digital, or nothing but digitization of PDS system. Digitization of PDS system. So every PDS shops in the country will be connected to a single online platform, a single website, a online platform. So all the data will be embedded into the system. So which will be useful for this interstate and intrastate portability of whom? This migrant workers. Migrant workers. For these persons. So this is a very important aspects of what? One nation, one ration card system. Because earlier, if a Bihar person is coming to Tamil Nadu, he cannot get any PDS entitlement because he is not a resident of that particular state. Suppose if he wants to get this PDS card, then what he must do? He must get a local proof of address. First he should get this Aadhaar card, then ration card, then only he will be given the entitlement. But now you don't have to get any such local resident proofs. Normally with Aadhaar of his original state as well as the smart card of his original state, he can get entitlement under the particular domestic, home state or the foreign state where he is moving towards. So that is the advantage of this one nation, one ration card scheme. So it comes under the policy called integrated management of PDS system. Integrated management of PDS system. Integrated management of PDS system. So we are integrating the PDS system to avoid all the corruption, because when the entire country is moving towards digital, what happens? The system becomes even more transparent. The system becomes even more transparent. So when the transparency is increased, what happens? Yeah, accountability is increasing. The accountability will be increasing. Suppose a migrant is coming here. A migrant is coming here. He will be given 5 kilograms of food grains under National Food Security Act in Tamil Nadu. The same person's family will be getting 5 kilograms of food grains in their respective states. So both the places they will get entitlement. But what? This person will get only 5 kilograms in Tamil Nadu. If he is from Bihar, if he is having a wife and kid, that wife and kid will be given 10 kilograms in Bihar. So that is the advantage of going for online. So now duplication will not happen, because he will get 5 here, his family will get 5 plus 5, 10 there. But if you don't have this digitization, what happens? He will get 5 here, then his family there will get 15 kgs. So this is not going to happen right now. So that is how it works. His family will be getting there in the home state. For example, Bihar. In Tamil Nadu, this person will be getting. So they can have 2 places access to these PDS shops. One from Tamil Nadu as well as one from the home state. So that is how this system works. Since this is a smart card, there will be some unique identification number. That number is all alone to register in Tamil Nadu local PDS shop. If you save that number and when you integrate that with your Aadhaar card, from any state you can access to your smart card. So you don't have to even bring that smart card physically to the ration shops. So that is the advantage of this PDS one nation, one ration card system. So earlier it was 2020. So we decided to move towards one nation, one ration card by 2020 June, July. But unfortunately because of Corona, we couldn't move towards this 2020s. Now we have shifted it to 2021. But unfortunately, the problem with this one nation, one ration card is states like Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, northeastern states, they all lack a robust PDS system. They all lack a robust PDS system, which means that the entire India, if moving towards one nation card, they will be lacking the system. They will be lacking the system because still only 50 to 60% of them are digitized. They are not even close to most of the developed state like Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Only 60% of what we are having right now, they are having right now. Uttar Pradesh and all, it is even more worse because they still operate on this brick and mortar system. We call this brick and mortar system. Which means that what? Still the manual billing will be happening, physical billing will be happening. The smart card will be not there, only the local, in the old, this card will be there. So all these things are still prevalent there. Then how these states will get integrated into the system? That is the reason why Tamil Nadu government or Kerala government resisted for this one nation, one ration card system, because suppose if this is going to commence, what happens? All the migrants will march towards the developed states. That is the biggest problem. The local residents will lose jobs, or they will face the competition from the migrants. And also again, it is not only economical problem as well as a social issue. So this is the biggest problem. The government is said we will not integrate, but again, because of cooperative federalism, we have to go with the central government because it is their policy. Fine. With this, actually I should have completed this in last class itself. I don't know where I have left it. ஓட்டு போட்டிங்களா நீங்களா? How many of you casted your votes? நீங்கள் சென்னை நல்லா போட்டீங்க, ஊருக்கு போய் போடணும். Sir, can we get staple food of Bihar in Tamil Nadu through? I'm not getting your answer question. Can we get staple food of Bihar, Tamil Nadu? Yes, of course, we can get.
I have a doubt. If person from Bihar, he may be consuming wheat in Bihar, but in Tamil Nadu, most of them. So how will it be around?
We can get wheat. Tamil Nadu we are giving wheat also. Can get, no problem. Wheat இருக்கு, wheat கொடுக்குறாங்க. In Tamil Nadu they are giving wheat also. Tamil Nadu we give wheat, rice, pulses, even oil. No, we give oil, kerosene, everything we are giving. Tamil Nadu it is more of developed. Wheat also they can get. Fine. So coming to an important scheme called as National Health Card Scheme. National Health Card Scheme. So fine. So this was started in 2015. National Health Card Scheme. So this was started under the policy National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So you would have studied 8 mission under environment over உங்களுக்கு ஆரம்பிச்சாங்களா? Okay, in environment you will study National Action Plan for Climate Change. You will study a scheme called National Action Plan for Climate Change. So under that we have one mission, that is what called a National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture. So under that scheme, this soil health card has been initiated by the Indian government in 2015. What is the difference between organic farming and biophonics? See, biophonics is doing organic farming without soil, that is using what? Water. Simple. That is what is the difference. So organic farming when we do with water, that is under a protected agriculture system, that is called as biophonics. Normally organic farming where we will be doing? We will be doing under soil conditions, in the field conditions. But in biophonics we are doing in a greenhouse chamber, and that too what? Only with water. So soilless organic farming can be called as biophonics. Fine. I think your doubt is clarified. So in soil health card system we are checking the soil under 12 parameters. So note down these things. You can just take a photograph of this because UPS will be asking what are all being checked here. So there are around 10 nutrients we are checking. 10 nutrients, these things, and 2 physical and chemical properties of the soil. One is pH and second is electrical conductivity. So both to check the health of the soil like salinity, acidity, etc. So pH and electrical conductivity. Organic carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, zinc, boron, iron, manganese and copper. All these are checked under National Soil Health Card Scheme. Fine. So normally earlier this scheme was having a validity of 3 years. So when you get a soil health card, you will get a validity of 3 years, which means that if you are taking soil this year, this will be valid for 2021, 2022, 2023. So next soil health card can be taken at 2024. Now it has been amended during the corona period into 2 years. So now the validity of soil health card is what? Only 2 years. Only 2 years. An important amendment. And again, in soil health card scheme, the samples must be taken twice. The sample must be taken twice in a year. That is during Kharif season 1 and after Rabi season. So during Kharif season 1 sample, during Rabi season second sample. So 2 samples has to be taken. So these are the necessary requirements for soil health card scheme. This is under the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. Agricultural and Rural Development. Rural Development. Under the Ministry of Agricultural and Rural Development. So very important soil health card scheme. And again, most importantly, it is a voluntary scheme. So it is a voluntary scheme. This question was asked once, whether it is mandatory or voluntary. It is a voluntary scheme only. It is a voluntary scheme only. If you are interested, you can go, or else it is not a mandatory. Now around 14 crore people are registered soil health card owners. That means most of the farmers of Indian agriculture has got this voluntary soil health card scheme. Fine. So this is all about soil health card. And again, it is not free of cost. We should pay a minimum of 190 rupees. This is also important. UPS will be asking this also. This is not a free of cost scheme. This is a minimal cost scheme. Which is per sample you should be paying 190 rupees. But again, the national government or the central government will reimburse this. Will reimburse this through state government. It will reimburse. National government will reimburse. So it is not a free of cost. Simple understanding is that it is not a free of cost scheme. Fine. Coming to Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. This is a very important scheme. So this is for agricultural crop insurance. You would have read this, no? படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா? Crop insurance புரியல. Yeah, fine. Crop insurance scheme. Right now we are having only this scheme. Earlier we have 4 to 5 schemes, but now all has been replaced with one scheme, that is Fasal Bima Yojana, crop insurance scheme. What was the problem with the earlier scheme? We called it as agricultural insurance scheme. AIS, agricultural insurance scheme. And then it was modified agricultural insurance scheme. Modified agricultural insurance scheme. So these things were the earlier schemes. The problem with the earlier schemes, no, high tariff, high premium rate, around 10% or more than 10%. First thing, more premium was charged. Second, it was available only to few crops. Third, most of the farmers were not aware of this scheme. And most importantly, what was the problem? Claims and settlements was a big problem with the older insurance scheme, because when you want to get a claim, doesn't mean that you can get it very easily. The claim procedure will alone take 6 to 1 year to get the settlement. So this is the biggest problem with the older scheme. Now came this crop insurance scheme. When it was introduced, it was a mandatory scheme. So everyone getting this loan, small and big crop loan, small and large loans. So earlier, whenever a person is going for loan, taking loan, mandatorily his loan account will be having this crop insurance scheme annexed, which means that he is willing or not, if he is taking loan from the bank, mandatorily he will be annexed with what? Crop insurance scheme. Fine. What are the features? This covers most of the crops, almost all the crops, horticulture crops, agricultural crops, plantation crops, etc. all the crops, tree species, etc. And it covers most of the damages like pest and diseases, disasters, even animal attacks. For example, elephant attack, etc. is happening. No, feel the elephant will get into. So even that is also covered. Then post harvest losses. So all these are taken care of. Post harvest losses, etc. All has been taken care of this crop insurance scheme. And very importantly, it is a small premium scheme. Small premium scheme. That means that we have 3 slabs for premium. One is 1.5%, 2%, and 5% slab. So we have 3 premium rates for Fasal Bima Yojana. One is for Rabi crop 1.5%, Kharif crop 2%, and for horticulture crops it is 5%. So this is the premium rate. See, earlier I told you the minimal premium was 10%. In the earlier scheme, the minimal percentage was 10%. Minimum premium was 10%. Now the minimal percentage is 1.5%. Maximum is what? Only 5%. Even in that, it is 50-50. 50% will be paid by the farmers, 50% will be paid by the Indian government. So such a beautiful scheme for Indian farmers. But unfortunately, this scheme was a big failure earlier. Why? Any idea? Or this was not as successful as it was expected.
Because
Farmer?
farmer loans them.
No. ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ.
Because you said farmer take loans, then mandatory.
Yeah, that is the problem, but not the reason what you're saying. Suppose I am taking loan. So which means that along with the loan, I will be having what? Fasal Bima Yojana. But I am aware or not aware. This is very important. Suppose if I am not aware, what will happen? Suppose I am incurring loss. I am incurring loss because of what? Pest and diseases. If I am aware, what will happen? I will go for insurance, availing the insurance benefits. Suppose if I am not aware, what happens? The bank people will do the claimings on behalf of me with the insurance agents. And these two people's nexus will eat away my claims and settlements. So this is the biggest problem. This was a big scam that happened in India. Even the Prime Minister mentioned about the scheme in his speech, because the Fasal Bima Yojana is making the insurance companies to grow but not the farmers to grow. Because why? The insurance company are getting the insurance premium, etc. The bank people are getting the corruption and looted amount. But unfortunately, the farmers are what? Are the scapegoats. Because they are not even known about these schemes. Whenever, suppose what happens when we go for a loan, even when we go for a loan or insurance, do we read the documents? Normally we will put the signature where? In the into mark. Export edutha kelthu pottu varum. Central government only will pay. Fine. எது? எல்லாத்தையும் இந்தியா ஃபுல்லாக நடந்துச்சு இந்த ஸ்கேம். Maybe இருந்திருக்கலாம், but it happened in every state. Because mandatory, everyone will taking the loan. Suppose if is incurring loss, because for example we had a big locust attack in Gujarat, everyone encountered loss. How many would have gone for the settlement? No, not even one would have gone for settlement. Unfortunately, what happens? All the bank people will do all the settlement claims on behalf of this farmer. Then they will even put this signature, and they have this nexus with their insurance agents. And now these two people will be looting the farmer's amount. Even if farmer is aware, what happens? Can I go to an insurance company and get a claim very easily? Even an educated person like you and me will not get easily the settlements, because we will be made to walk every now and then. ஒரு வாரம் 2 வாரம் நடக்க வச்சு கடைசியில் நம்ம உயிரே காலி பண்ணி தான் அந்த பணம் கிடைக்கும். இது படித்து நமக்கே இந்த பிரச்சனைனா, வாட் அபவுட் த பீப்புள் லைக் farmers? That is the reason why there was a huge protest in 2019. Then a huge amendment was made. Now this scheme has been made voluntary. So this is the important amendment. So இது கேட்கறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. So now the scheme is only voluntary. Nexus means friendship. Friendship. The bank and insurance people will be like friends, but for what? Doing corruption. Doing corruption. They will have some union within themselves. Archana, yes, 50 percentage. 50% will be paid by the farmers and 50% will be paid by the central government. Next is now ஒரு friendship மாதிரி ஒரு connection between the farm இவங்க ரெண்டு பேத்துக்கும் for what? For looting the money. So looting the money. Fine. So these are all like very important schemes. எப்பயுமே கேட்டுட்டே இருக்கக்கூடிய schemes because very important scheme. So you can easily eliminate because of this layer. We have a variable premium rate. We have a variable premium rate. Good. Fine. So last class we saw cropping pattern. Yes or no? Good. Good. B only. Now we will see cropping system. So when I talked about cropping pattern, I said cropping pattern is a macro term. It can be applied for a larger area. Then what is cropping system? Suppose take two farmers, A and B. A and B. If B is a large farmer, assume he is a big farmer. Is a big farmer having some 100 acres. Is having some 100 acres. This guy is a very small or very marginal farmer. Is a very small farmer having only 10 cents of land. Right? So you know how many cents 1 acre? Any idea? How many cents 1 acre? Very common mathematics. சொல்லுங்க. என்ன இது மொபைல் பார்க்க போறீங்களா? 100 cents 1 acre. 100 cent 1 acre. Yeah, good. For all students எல்லாம் தூங்கிட்டே பதில் சொல்றாங்க. வாய்ப்பே இல்ல. Good. So 100 cents 1 acre. Good. So 1 hectare is 2.5 acres. That is very important. Yes, 100. Actually, you are right. 100 only. Right. So only 1/10 of an acre is having. Now both are living in the Tanjore district. Both are living nearby. The same area they are located just nearby. So one is a very small farmer, one is a very big farmer. This person B will go for this kind of cropping pattern, rice. He will go for rice, or he will go for sugarcane. He will go for sugarcane, or he will go for banana, or he will go for rice, or maize, or pulse, etc. So since this person is huge or big farmer, what are his advantages? First thing, the capital he will be having will be enormous. He will have enormous capital. Good. Since he is big farmer, definitely he will be having more skills and scientific knowledge. So he will be following modern agriculture. He will be having modern irrigation facilities. So he is more scientific. He is more modern scientific farming. He is more skill oriented person. He is having more of capital. He have the access to what? Loan from banks, etc. So because of all these factors, this guy can follow a robust cropping pattern in his local field. So in his field, he will be following all types of cropping pattern, what is normally followed in that particular area. He will be following a robust agriculture. But unfortunately, what happens? A very marginal farmer having only 10 cents. First season, he may go for rice. Second season, he will not even cultivate anything. Or even in the first generation, he will go for pulse because very cheap pulse. He will go for pulse. Then he will not cultivate anything. or sometimes he will not cultivate anything at all, because this guy has no access to banks for loans, capital, no capital, resource, no resource, irrigation facilities, no irrigation facilities. When there is a rain and canal irrigation, he can go for agriculture. So the same person living adjacent person, then what is the limiting factors? So limiting factors are many, which means that the skill, capital, or the land availability, everything. These are the limiting factors. So which means that the cropping pattern followed by a particular individual farmer is called as cropping system. So what do you mean by cropping system is that the cropping pattern followed by a individual farmer in his field is called as cropping system. Cropping system. So normally the cropping system may not be the same as cropping pattern followed in that particular locality, because all these are limited by several factors. I told you, no, the farmer normally what will do, suppose if I am living in Kaveri area, what I will do, I will go for rice or rice pulses, because that is the normal cropping pattern followed. But unfortunately I am having lot of limitations. Land is a limitation, capital is a limitation, bank account, I don't have bank account, I have to go for what, money lending. So some money lenders will be giving money for me, I don't have any scientific knowledge, skill, everything is limited. So when I am limited, so my cropping system will be different, entirely different. Entire place will be going for something else and I will be going for some other agricultural practices. So what cropping pattern you follow in your particular field is called as cropping system, or in other words we can say that it is a sequential arrangement of crop. Sequential arrangement of crop. So in a particular farmer's field, that is very important. Earlier we saw a bigger area, now it is only a farmer's field. So in a year, this is what is called as cropping system. So cropping system is limited by lot of resources, lot of factors. Fine, this is what is called as cropping system. Then what are we discussing in this question? Any idea? So what are the major reasons for declining rice and wheat in the cropping system? So now when you don't understand cropping system, you may go wrong in this question, because now what they are asking, major reasons for the declining rice and wheat yield in the cropping system. So what they are asking, wherever farmers are growing rice and wheat, why they are facing a declining yield? So this is the question, because cropping system is entire India, right? Now they are asking about individual farmers. Who are the individual farmers? All the individual farmers going for this type of cultivation, rice or wheat. So here you should talk more about individual farmers, what they are facing. Now you should not talk about pan India problems. So because this question is all about cropping system, what individual farmers are facing at their field. So அப்படி பேசினா மட்டும் தான் இந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு ஆன்சர் சொல்ல முடியும்.
Like what you said for the farmer, like less land,
Yeah,
skill இல்ல அந்த மாதிரி.
mostly this one. This is the biggest problem. Monocropping. Because of monocropping, what happened? Soil fertility is lost. So this is the first reason நம்ம சொல்லணும். The problem rice wheat is that what? Monocropping. Then overuse of fertilizers. I told you, we have damaged the soil properties, physical properties and chemical properties. That is the reason why we are going for this modern tillage, that is minimal tillage and all. Loss of soil fertility because of heavy tillage. So these are the answers. இதுதான் நம்ம சொல்லணும். So crop diversification. So what do you mean by crop diversification? Yeah. Crop diversification. So we will be seeing crop diversification. So multiple cropping. So in crop diversification, for crop diversification, we are seeing the first concept called as multiple cropping. So multiple cropping. Multiple cropping. So multiple cropping means this is the field. This is the field. Normally what we'll do? We will go for a single crop throughout the field. So throughout the field we will be having single crop. For example, if you are going for cotton, we are going for only cotton throughout the field. But what multiple cropping suggests? What multiple cropping suggests? Instead of going for a single crop throughout the field, so you can go for multiple crops. You can go for So you can go for multiple crops in the same field. So we can go for multiple crops in the same field. See, here we are not discussing about season to season. We are talking about single season, how the field has to be distributed. This is what is called as multiple cropping. ஒரே சீசன்ல எப்படி ஃபீல்டை நம்ம டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணணும் அதை பற்றி தான் நம்ம பேசிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஃபைன். ஸோ ஒரு சிங்கிள் லேண்ட், ஏக்கர் ஆஃப் லேண்ட், ஹவு வி கேன் யூஸ் ஃபார் மல்டிபிள் டைப்ஸ் ஆஃப் கிராப்ஸ். Why we are going for multiple crops? First thing, what are the advantages? So one is risk mitigation. So risk is heavy normally when you go for single crop. Now when you go for 2 crops, 3 crops, one will act as an insurance for the others. So one will mitigate the risk of others. For example, if rice is failing, pulses will give you some yield. Second thing, soil fertility. For example, this is rice. I told you the rice will have shallow roots. Suppose if the second crop is pulse, they will have what? A different zone of activity, which means that the soil fertility is not uniformly taken by both the crops. Here one is taking from the topsoil, one is taking from the subsoil, which means that the soil fertility is maintained. Not only that, the pulse is what? Fixing nitrogen. So soil fertility. Second thing, then a natural mulch. So instead of leaving the middle area vacant, when we go for some other crop, the natural mulch will be happening. We will see that. Then erosion can be controlled. That's a very important point. So entire field is filled with a pulse crop with some cereal crop. Pulse crop is what? Erosion controlling crop. Cereal crop is a erosion vulnerable crop. So it is like a strip cropping. So these are the benefits of multiple cropping. Not only this, there are many enormous benefits. So normally, I will tell you, don't worry. So the first multiple cropping technique, there are 3 to 4 multiple cropping types. The first is called as intercropping. What do you mean by intercropping? Normally this is the field. I am going for some maize. Assume that some maize. I am going for some maize throughout the field. This is the normal space, right? This is the normal space between the 2 rows of maize. Maize is a vulnerable crop for erosion. Then what we will do? Instead of leaving this space vacant, what I will do? I will be using pulse as an intercrop. Pulse. So advantage of pulses, see here there are 2 crops. No, this is something, this is like groundnut, I guess, and this is something like a cabbage or something. So here this cabbage may be the main crop and this groundnut or something else is the intercrop, which means that in the intermediate spaces we are going for a different crop. Then what are the advantages? First thing, this space, if this is the space, what happens? This space is more vulnerable for erosion earlier. Now since I am going for an intercrop, I'm going for intercrop. This intercrop will act as what? Natural mulch. We studied mulching, no? Instead of putting some paddy straw or plant residues, if I'm going for an intercrop, this will act as a natural mulch. One thing. Second thing, it will prevent soil erosion. Third, they will fix nitrogen. Fourth, they will prevent evaporation from this vacant area. They will prevent evaporation from this vacant area. See, all these are the benefits. All these are the benefits. Going for intercrop. This is what is called as intercropping. Heavenly people, what are you all doing? No activity for the past 10 to 15 minutes. Are you all listening? Or after a heavy lunch? I don't know how many of you ate non-veg today. What was the lunch? உங்க லஞ்ச் என்ன? சாம்பார். சண்டே எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு வருதுங்கிறது ஞாபகமே இல்லையா? நீங்க both are vegetarians. Oh my god. Right from small age இல்ல இப்போ மாறிட்டீங்களா? 4 years வெஜிடேரியனா இருக்கீங்க. நீங்க எகிட்டேரியன் or வெஜிடேரியன்? எக்கு சாப்பிட மாட்டீங்க. எதுக்கு உயிர் வாழ்றீங்க? நீங்களுமா? சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே பல சாப்பிடுறதில்ல. Fine. Any vegetarians in the online groups? Only rasam will be given when others are eating non-veg. Sambar on Sunday. I don't know why. Sambar on a Sunday. Pure non-veg, sir. Good. So by birth, if you're vegetarian, no problem. But these people are changed because of some ideology. Fine. Today அமாவாசையா? இப்படியா என்ன? அமாவாசை சாப்பிடக்கூடாதா? தெரியல எனக்கு அதான் தெரியாது. Oh, fine. Oh, good. I don't know that. Today அமாவாசை. When the ocean water will be very அமாவாசைக்கு பௌர்ணமிக்கு ஏன் வந்து ஓஷன் வாட்டர் ரொம்ப ஹெவியா மேல போகுது? why the tides will be heavier or will be larger during அமாவாசை and பௌர்ணமி? any idea? ஜியோகிராஃபி எடுத்தாங்களா இல்லையா? எடுக்கலையா? எடுத்தாங்க. ஏன் ஆன்லைன் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் சொல்லுங்க, ஏன் டைட்ஸ் வில் பி சூப்பர்? combined gravitational effect of sun and moon. good. Yeah, good. Gravitational effect. Fine. Gravitational pull of moon. அமாவாசை பௌர்ணமிக்கு என்னன்னா gravitational pull of moon and sun will be very heavier, so the tides will be emerging very robustly. That is a problem. Good. Fine. So this is intercropping. So with this we will go for a small break. After 5 minutes we shall assemble. A small break. I think Arjuna, you're asking a doubt. I mean, இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் என்ன கேட்குறீங்களா? What is your answer actually? You say 2 and 3. Okay, fine. Let some others also come with answers. Let us see. Anyone with any other answers? Archana is saying 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Some all offline students are going with 2 and 3 along with Archana. Akshaya is 3 only. Vinisha, BU, sir, that is 3 only. The answer is 3 only. See, we don't have any such provisions where we give loans based on soil health card. I told you soil health card is voluntary. That itself is conveying the message, right? If it is voluntary, if it is mandatory, then for every loan you should go for soil health card. I told you it is completely voluntary. That's the reason why I specifically mentioned it is voluntary. Suppose if அப்படிலாம் ஒரு கண்டிஷன் இருந்தால் இந்தியாவில் யாருக்குமே லோன் கிடைக்காது. No one will get loan in India if there is such provisions. Just logical. These are just logical explanations. நம்மளாம் டீப்பாலாம் போன அவசியம் இல்லை. Just logical. அவ்வளோ ரிஜிடாலாம் நம்ம லோன் கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க. Normally loans are given only on size of the land. Land இருக்கா லோன் அவ்வளோதான். Land இல்லைன்னா அதுக்கும் லோன் இருக்கும். If you are tenant farmer, even there you can get loan, but the amount of the loan will be very less because you don't have anything to pledge, security அது கொடுக்கறதுக்கு இருக்கா. So you will not get a good இது. Fine. So this is the intercropping example. See, here we are having so normally we are having turmeric within coconut field, turmeric within a coconut field. Now a maize within a coconut field, maize. So just normally coconut na rendu area we will have vacant area between coconut trees. Now we are having some plants within the existing trees, just to preserve the soil fertility, nutrient recycling, usage of spaces, etc, etc. So this is the advantage of going for intercropping. Then comes relay cropping. Did we see this last class? Relay cropping, it's like a relay race. Normally when we go for crop cultivation, how we will be going? This is first season, this is second season, clear? Fine. This is third season. See, this is season 1, season 2, season 3. Now like this we will be going for cultivation. When we complete first season, we are going for rice. Second season also rice. Third season is pulse. Assume this is the cropping pattern we are following in that particular area. Normally what we will be doing, first after rice, what we will be having, we will having some space between these two for tillage, field preparation, etc, etc. Then after harvesting this rice too, again we will have some vacant space. Then we will go for the third crop. So this vacant space will be used for what? Field preparation, etc, etc, like removing the stubbles, tillage, then removing the weed, etc. So sterilizing the field, so preparing the field for the next crop, applying organic manures. The மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் will be doing. But that's a concept called relay cropping. So before relay cropping, I will ask you a doubt or question. If this is rice crop, the duration of the rice crop, how many? 120 days. Duration of the rice crop is what? 120 days. Do you think the rice crop require food, nutrition and water uniformly throughout 120 days? Yes. Suppose, what is your age right now? It is 20. What you are consuming at the age of 20, will you consume the same amount at the age of 40, 80, 100? Definitely your consumption will what? Reduce. At the age of 100 and all, you will not even consume anything. Everything will be what? Liquid தான் உள்ள போகும், etc. அதே மாதிரி தான் ரைஸுக்கும், not only for rice, for all crops. After 90 or 100 days, the consumption of nutrient or water will stop producing economic yield. Now what will be happening? Only the vegetative will be increasing, which means that the green leaves will be increasing, not the economic food grains. So what happens? This 20 days is not of so much profitable for the farmers, but still we cannot say it is not profitable. We can say this is a maturity phase. Here only the maturity of the food grains will be happening, but no economically addition of food grains will be happening. So what relay cropping is suggesting, suppose if this is the growing phase of a particular crop, instead of going for the second crop at this place, what they are suggesting, go for the second crop at this phase itself. So this is called as relay cropping. For example, second crop, if you are going for pulse, go at the 90th or 100th day of the particular first crop itself. So sow the seeds of the second crop when the first crop is not yet harvested. Then what are the advantages of this? Why are government or why are the scientists are asking for this? See, first crop, this is rice. Second crop, maize. So the maize has been sown at 100th day of rice. Now the rice is harvested, the maize will grow. Now third crop, maybe a pulse. What pulse it can be? Maybe green gram. Fine. So advantage of going for relay crop, you can go for one more season. So fourth season you can go, because of saving 20 days here, 10 days here, 10 days here. So almost 40 to 50 days we are saving. So we can have 4 season crops when you go for relay cropping. 4 season crops. Normally we have only 3 seasons. Now we are going for fourth season. Fourth season, very very short duration. We can go for cowpea, or we can go for any this greens, keerai. The duration of most of the greens, no, 40 days, 50 days, 40 to 50 days, green crops. All these can be grown at the fourth season because it is more of nutritious as well as economics. Because the availability, the demand for greens in particularly urban areas are increasing day by day because of this lifestyle diseases, etc., etc. Keerai, அது மாதிரி விஷயத்துக்கு நமக்கு அதிகமாக demand வருது. So fourth season we can go for some greens, spinaches, etc. Not only these things, even you can go for a pulse, 50 days, 50, 60 days duration of pulses. So this is called as relay cropping. So first advantages is fourth season. Not only that, second, this is a natural mulch. So instead of leaving the between spaces empty, we can go for a second crop, natural mulch. Then again erosion controlling. So all this multiple cropping, what we are discussing, the types of multiple cropping, what we are discussing, like earlier I discussed intercropping, now I am discussing relay cropping. All are very good in water use efficiency as well as resource use efficiency. Resource use efficiency and water use efficiency. So ஒரு இடத்தை நம்ம எப்படி அழகா அளவா பயன்படுத்த முடியும், that is what is called as resource use efficiency or water use efficiency, relay cropping. And above all, the intercropping or multiple cropping is a very good carbon sequestration. We studied carbon sequestration tillage, no, carbon sequestration technique. All all are very good in carbon sequestration. All are very good in what? Carbon sequestration. So this multiple cropping, intercropping, cropping rotation, all these are very good what? Carbon sequestering. More carbon dioxide is absorbed because we are having different combination of crops. 4 types of crops we are going. So 4 cycles of carbon dioxide is what? Absorbed by that particular plant and what? Taking into the land. So more carbon fixation is happening. So these are all the advantages of relay cropping. So see here. Now soybean, this is maize. Assume this is maize or wheat, I don't know. Here soybean has been sown here, this area soybean has been sown here. So now maize is growing or wheat is growing. At the same time, you can see here the soybean is also growing. So soybean now taken as a relay cropping, because when the first crop is growing, 90th day or 100th day we are going for the soybean. Main crop grow ஆகுது, and the relay crop grow ஆயிட்டு இருக்கு. And again look the space earlier how it was width. Now the width is again diminishing. So we are reducing that particular space. Mulching is like a natural mulch. So now look, the soybean has completely established. This wheat has almost reached its maturity. I don't know whether it's wheat or something. Let us take it as wheat. So look, soybean is maturing. Maybe this is the 30th day of soybean, and this is the 100th day of that particular wheat crop. 100th day of particular wheat crop. So look, now the soybean has almost reached 40 to 50 days, and this is almost a 120 days, which is ready for what? Harvest, this wheat crop. So this is what is called as relay crop. Once this is harvested, this will emerge as the single crop. This is emerge as single crop. Again, in these spaces, we will be going for sowing the next crop. So this is how the advantage of relay cropping has been utilized. But again, than advantages, some disadvantages are also increasing, or else the see the problem with see earlier and all this relay cropping, intercropping, all where we were using, no, we are using in dry land areas. We are using in dry land areas, dry areas. We are using in dry areas, or where we have limited water. Because suppose if rice is failing, at least we will have pulses, because pulses can withstand drought. So in dry area, what happens? Dry area, what happens? We normally you don't use more of fertilizers. Instead, we use only crops as fertilizers. For example, when we have wheat along with soybean, soybean is a nitrogen fixer, wheat is a nitrogen lover. So this acts as a nutrient recycling. So normally we will not be applying any extra fertilizer and all. What fertilizer what we applied for wheat will be all used by soybean also. So we are not going for any extra care of this relay crop. We are not taking any extra care. So the question what you asked, Aranip, the answer is no, we don't add any extra for the soybean, etc. So what are all the residual fertilizer what the first crop has left will be taken by the soybean, will be taken by the soybean. See, when we go for multiple cropping, we will not go for as two crop which are more antagonistic in nature. For example, what the question asked by some of the online students. Suppose if you are going for two crops, for example, if you go for wheat, if you are going for wheat, you should not go for barley, because both are looking one and the same. So it is not easy to harvest. And again, both are what? Antagonistic crop. Antagonistic crop. What do you mean by antagonistic crop? Their nutrient requirements are the same. Their air water requirement are the same. Their soil fertility should be the same. So which means that when you grow these two crops, they will compete with each other. So here we cannot go for relay cropping or what? Same duration. So here we cannot go for intercropping. So instead we should go for synergistic cropping. We call it as synergy. What do you mean by synergy? Or simple words, symbiosis. Symbiosis. You would have studied symbiosis, no? Mutual benefits. For example, rice along with pulse. For example, this is rice crop, this is a rice crop, this is a rice crop. Pulse crop will be only this much amount, this height. So you will not face any problem while harvesting, because rice will be here. Rice will be here. So you will going to harvest only at this place. Sorry, at this place. So that time the pulse will be only at this level. So you will not harvest pulses instead of rice. There is no point like the indifferentiate பண்றதுக்கு நமக்கு வாய்ப்பு இல்லாம போறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இல்ல. Which means that when we are going for harvesting, you are not going to use or harvest pulses instead of rice, because both are different crops which are more what? Synergistic in action or symbiosis in action. For example, pulses fix nitrogen, rice takes nitrogen. First thing. Second, I told you their zone of activity is very limited. Here their zone of activity is more deeper. And again, this is a erosion controlling crop, this is a erosion loving crop. And again, while harvesting, the farmers do it manually, not even harvesters will be used. So they can visually differentiate, what is rice and what is pulses. And again, when you are harvesting rice, the pulses would have not even matured, which means that you are not going to harvest the pulse which has not matured. Then what is the problem in differentiating, or what is the problem in identification? For example, the pulse will be 30 days. Pulse 30 days, it will be only leaves will be there, but rice will be around 120 days. So rice you will harvest, then you will take back the stubbles and all. So this will, after 40 or 50 days after harvesting rice only, this will give the economic yield, that is the pulses. So அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது there is no point what you have asked. Sivapriya, fine. So multi-story cropping, this is something a different concept. Anyone from Pollachi area? Anyone from Pollachi area? Normally in Pollachi area, what we see, we have this multi-story cropping, which means that there will be coconut tree on either side. Coconut tree on either side. Then they will go for cocoa. Know this cocoa? Cocoa kelipattirukeenga? Cocoa, Cadbury chocolate la enga, cocoa is the raw material. Cocoa, right? Ghana. Yes, Ghana, good. Ghana cocoa, right? Then they will have some turmeric crop. Then there will be pulses here. See, remember, this is coconut, and this is cocoa, and this is turmeric, and this is, suppose take it as onion. So this is called as multi-story cropping, multi-story or multi-tier cropping, multi-tier cropping. So here we are using the vertical space effectively. Earlier we are using the horizontal space only. Now we are using vertical space along with the horizontal space. See here, coconut. There, suppose this is the sun. So coconut will receive sun rays here. Then cocoa will receive. Then turmeric. Then onion. So here no will not even a single crop will stand as a barrier for the second crop, because all have different size and measurement, or we can say crop ergonomics. They have different crop ergonomics. We call it as crop ergonomics. So we study everything, no? Even IT you study this ergonomics, no? Ergonomics. So which means that because of the relative difference in heights, they will be using the sun very effectively. Not only sun rays, even the water. For example, coconut will be very deeper in root, so they will get water from the deeper area. Cocoa a little relatively deeper. Then turmeric again a little relatively deeper. So like that, the different zone of activity of the roots, everything will completely make this area a more productive, more profitable. So here we are using this vertical spaces effectively. Here we are using the vertical spaces very effectively. So this is called as multi-tier cropping. For example, cocoa. Even with this, if you are not going for cocoa, we can go for this banana. So these are the uses of this multi-tier cropping. So look, multi-story cropping. So one side papaya is there, one side coconut is there. Say here turmeric or banana is there. So multiple stages of crops. So these are the advantages of multi-story cropping. Then coming to a last one called mixed cropping. So in multiple cropping we saw intercropping, relay cropping, multi-tier cropping, and the last one is mixed cropping. It's a very simple concept. This is a field. We will go for different types of crops in different parts of the field. For example, we will differentiate the crop into patterns or grids, whatever may be. So now we will be growing here wheat, here some pulses, here some millets, here some cotton, etc. So here some crops, which means that in a single plot of area we will grow different types of crops, different combination of crops. For example, rice, pulses, millets, minor millets, major millets, etc., coconut, turmeric, etc. So in a single piece of land we are going for more than 2 or 3 types of crops. This is called as mixed cropping. Different types of crops. So advantage is very simple. One is the risk mitigation. So to mitigate the risk of one crop with the other crop. Second, very good carbon sequestration method. Third, soil erosion controlling measure, erosion control. So all these are the advantages of going for mixed cropping. So the most important aspect for mixed cropping is economic benefits. So going for 5 to 6 crops in a field, for example, there will be spinach in one part of the field. So spinach every 30 to 40 days we can harvest the spinach and get economic yield. Other side we will have some sugar cane. For sugar cane is an annual crop. So after 1 year we will get yield from annual crop. Or sometimes we can have some pulses. 70 to 80 days we will get some yield from pulses. So these are the advantage of this mixed cropping. And above all, UPSC will be asking mixed cropping with what? Carbon sequestration. Since we are using multiple types of crops, the more carbon dioxide is absorbed by the cropping system here. The crops will absorb more carbon dioxide. For example, pulses will be absorbing, rice will be absorbing, the sugarcane will be absorbing. So more carbon sequestration is happening. And since soil is completely covered with different combination of crop, again I told you, soil fertility and soil erosion is controlled. So these are the advantage of this mixed cropping. Fine. Now going to an important concept called as collective agriculture. So any doubts so far? We'll be entering into a very important concept called as collective agriculture. So what do you mean by collective agriculture? Good. All in people, those are all not eaten any non-veg, you can answer. I think non-veg people all would have sleeping by now. எல்லாம் நல்லா தூங்கிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. சிக்கன், மட்டனு, ஃபிஷ்ஷு, anyone? ஆமாம், சாப்பிட்டு தான் உண்டேன். Difference between mixed cropping and multi-tier cropping. So mixed cropping means using the horizontal spaces. Multi-tier cropping using the vertical spaces. Simple. See, mixed cropping means using the horizontal spaces. Multi-tier cropping using effectively the vertical spaces. That is the difference. So Archana has asked one question. Yeah, yes, Harini, you are true. In relay cropping and all, it is very difficult to use machines. It is very difficult to use machines. But in foreign countries, they orient the field such a way that they can use harvesters. They can use harvesters. But for that, you require hundreds and hundreds of acres. In India, it is not possible. But in foreign countries, even if you go for relay cropping, the field will be oriented such a way that they can go for harvesting. Machines are there. Why would mixed cropping sequester more carbon than monocropping if the space is effectively used? Why can't monocropping also sequester more carbon? Monocropping also sequester more carbon. I didn't say monocropping will not sequester carbon. Monocropping will sequester carbon. See, suppose, understand monocropping first. Let us see. See here, this is the crop, monocropping. Normally what I say, the space is vacant, right? In monocropping, the space is vacant. If this is monocropping, suppose this is rice, this is rice, this is rice. So the space is always a vacant in monocropping. But in mixed cropping, in multi-tier cropping, or in relay cropping, we are effectively use this space. No, we are using this space again with what? Green crops, yes or no? So that is the advantage. That is the advantage of going for multiple cropping. Even this vacant space is effectively used, so this sequesters more carbon. That is the answer for your question. Archana, did you get the answer, Archana? Fine. So collective agriculture, as most of you told the answer for this. So many people coming together for doing agriculture. Then why should they come together?
Because land is very less.
Good. One is land shortages. Good, 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 very good. Because of non-availability of land. Good. Second, capital is very less when they go for individual agriculture. So they can pool their capital, pooling of capital. Or we can say simple pooling of resources. What all resources? One is capital. Second is human resource. One is capital resource. One is human resource. That's very important. Second, third, skill. One people will have different skill. When they join together, what happens? They will share their, they will share their skills, knowledge, etc. So these are the advantages of So why collective agriculture? So all finally lead to this bargaining. So it is called as collective bargaining. So collective agriculture leads to what? Collective bargaining. Suppose if one farmer is asking for some benefits, no one will be turning back. But if you join together and ask for benefits, then it is called as collective bargaining. Collective bargaining. So collective agriculture leads to collective bargaining. So when you bargain in a group, you will get more benefits, more economic benefits. Fine. This is what is the collective agriculture is all about. We can classify collective agriculture under two heads. One is formal groups, second is informal groups. Formal and informal groups. Formal and informal groups. So in formal, we will be seeing cooperatives. Second is farmers, producers, organizations. Third is contract farming. Contract farming. So these are the formal groups. One is cooperatives, farmers, producers, organizations, contract farming. They are all formal groups. Why I call them formal groups? Because they are all regulated by some law or some rules or some regulations. Rules, regulations or legislations. These are called as formal collective agricultural groups. Some informal groups like self-help groups, farmers interest groups, etc. So these are informal groups. So we are not most bothered about this informal groups. We are most bothered about this formal groups. Fine. So in formal groups, first we will be talking about cooperatives. So what is a cooperative? Or tell me any successful cooperatives other than dairy. டைரி இல்லாமல் ஏதாவது சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல் கோஆபரேட்டிவ் சொல்லுங்க பார்ப்போம். டைரி இல்லாமல் ஏதாவது இல்லை அக்ரிகல்ச்சர் கோஆபரேட்டிவ்ஸ். சரி ஓகே சொல்லுங்க. கோஆபரேட்டிவ் பேங்க்ஸா? சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல் பேர் சொல்லுங்க. கோஆப்டெக்ஸ். கோஆபரேட்டிவ்ஸில் போய் முதல்ல நீங்கள் ட்ரெஸ் எடுத்துருக்கீங்களா சிவப்பிரியா? கோஆபரேட்டிவ் சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல் மாடல் சொல்லுங்க. நீங்கள் முதல்ல ட்ரெஸ் எடுத்துருக்கீங்க. ஐ டேக்கன் எனி ட்ரெஸ் ஃப்ரம் கோஆப்டெக்ஸ். இட் இஸ் நாட் சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல். இட்ஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் தி ஃபெயிலியர்டு. எடுத்திருக்கீங்களா? குட். அதோட உடனே ஒன்லி கஸ்டமர் நீங்கள் தான் நினைக்கிறேன். சாரி, the only person to have taken from Cooptex. So one of the failure concept, failure. Employee cooperative banks or PSUs. Okay, fine. Where are the name something? Any names you can say, right? கூட்டுறவு, தமிழ்நாடு கூட்டுறவு வங்கி இருக்கலாம் மேபி. But most of the cooperative banks are running on losses. Most 90% are running on losses. பேர் கேட்டு நான் சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல் தானே கேட்டேன். டாஸ்மாக், டாஸ்மாக் இட்ஸ் a successful cooperative in India. Tasmak is a cooperative, no or not? Government. But it's a government run cooperative. Simple. It's a government run cooperative. Fine. So how a cooperative is initiated? Suppose if this is a village. This is a village and there are many farmers. So they have decided to start a cooperative. Suppose all these farmers are pooling their resources. Capital, etc. Then they are starting a cooperative. Called as ABC. Consider this as ABC cooperatives. All the people who had invested on the capital are owners of these cooperatives. All the people who had invested on the capital are all called as owners. Suppose if 1,000 people had invested on the capital, all 1,000 will be the owners of this capital. All 1,000 people will be the owners of this capital. So now they will register their cooperatives. Where will they register these cooperatives? All the cooperatives will be registered as or under respective state Cooperative Societies Act. Respective state Cooperative Societies Act. Cooperative Societies Act. That is very important. So everyone will be, or every cooperatives will be registered under what? Cooperative Societies Act. And then the state government Cooperative Societies Act. So now they will start this cooperative. It called as ABC cooperative. So I told you 1,000 of people who have invested on their capital will be the owners. Now, capital will be the owners. Now, the membership can be opened by them. They will open for members. So, anyone who is buying the or one who is paying the fees of this cooperative will become the member. See, owners are different from the members. Members who all pay the fees, will be the members. But who are the owners? People who invested on the capital are the owners. So, members are different from owners. Fine. Now, to run a cooperative, what you need? You need a capital, fine. To run a you need a land, of course, yes. You need a board, or to make decisions, no, it has to be taken. So, who will run this cooperative? A top management board must be there. So, for every cooperative, there will be a board called as cooperative board. Cooperative board. This cooperative board will be an elected one. So, every member of that particular cooperative are eligible to contest in the elections. And if they are getting elected, they will form the cooperative board member. So, now they will be member board of the members, and from them they will all join together and set and select one managing director. They will be electing a chairman of the board. So, he will be the person who will be running the cooperative. He will be called as chairman. So, there will be a chairman. Under him there will be some board members, and under them there will be members. Fine. This is how the cooperative organization structure is made up of. Is or owners. Owners will be the person who will be owners will be also members. So, they can also contest in the elections. Owners can also contest in the elections. அவங்க contest பண்ணி அங்கேயும் போலாம். So, either way it is possible, right? Either way it is possible. Fine. It is like a private company. For example, if Reliance is Ambani, but doesn't mean that Ambani is the complete owner. Jio is not 100% owned by Ambani. It's just a 26% shareholder of that Ambani. Just 75% is owned by whom? The common public. But who is the owner? Ambani is the owner, because he is having 76%. Suppose tomorrow if someone is acquiring 30% of that particular Ambani's share, then he will become the owner. But doesn't mean that Ambani will lose relevance. He will be also there, but maybe the second person. Fine. This is how it operates. So, anyone can contest. Even the owner can contest. Even the member can contest. Normally, members will be contesting. The owners will be not too much involved in these things, because they will be more concentrated on money, etc., on the administration of these things. So, all these. So, what is the activity of this board? They will be performing these rules, regulations, or laws. So, they will be the one to devolve all these things, rules and procedures, how to join, or what all things has to be happen. Day-to-day activities, everything will be what taken care of by whom? This board members will be headed by a chairman. So, what happens? Why? So, is the elected member form the member board? Yes, correct. The elected members form the member board. So, are the board members. Then they all sit together and elect it's like prime minister. How we elect a prime minister? First we elect MPs. Then all MPs elected the prime minister. It's the same thing. It is like members all become like board members all join together and elect what? A chairman. This is called not prime minister but a chairman. Fine. So, what is the problem with cooperatives? The first problem is this election. So, what is the problem with cooperatives? Normally, the election has to be happen at a democratic level, which means that the election must happen like a democracy, which means that they must not have any political affiliation. But unfortunately, most of the members of the cooperatives have some political connections. For example, they will be a member of AIADMK, or they will be a member of MDMK, or they will be a member of DMK. So, political connection they will be having. So, when these people contest in election, it will happen like a political election, a mini political election, which means that heavy corruption will be there. Casting for vote, they will be giving money. So, they will be trying to canvass. they will try to acquire the most important position in the cooperative, because what is cooperative? It's a capital rich resource. It's a capital rich resource. Suppose if you are getting into the board, you can use the capital as much as possible. For example, Avin, you know Avin. So Avin is a government body. Okay, Avin is a government run cooperative. Government is a government run cooperative and one of the most successful cooperative in Tamil Nadu. So this will have a chairman and this will have a board members. Normally chairman will be IAS officer. Normally chairman will be IAS officer. So here the board members are there. The board members are there. Since Avin is so much capital rich, every year budget there are 1000-2000 crores allotted for this Avin. So getting into this board, it is a big pride. Not only pride, and it is a big powerhouse. For example, last year 2019, I guess in 2019, son of or brother of our deputy chief minister OPS was inducted as a board member of Avin South Zone. So he was elected as the president, I guess, president of the Avin South Zone. See, the problem is he is from what? A political party. If this guy is entering into this particular board, then what may be his motive? To corrupt. So what people did? Many people raised against him. They went for High Court and finally High Court slashed his inductance as what? This president. Then he was removed from this presidentship. Then now he is only a member. See, he is just joined member just 1 year before. The second year he was taken to the post of a president. That was like anonymous election. So all these are happening. Why? Because of corruption. So first thing is politicization. So first is politicization of this cooperatives. This is the first problem. So most of the cooperatives are politicized, which means the political party entering into the cooperatives. If you go to Coimbatore, this is a cooperative only. To contest the elections, there will be so much money supply, which means that it is more of a pride and power for them to get the powerhouse of the particular cooperatives, Coimbatore market cooperative, etc. So money minting areas. Then nexus. This nexus is always a problem when it comes to a government institution, because suppose see, if there are 2 persons coming to this cooperative, 2 persons coming to this cooperative to get a loan of 2 crore. So I am a cooperative member board. I am a board member. I have the authority to sanction 2 crore rupees loan to anyone whom I think is beneficial or who is capable. Now 2 persons are coming. One is A, one is B. I am X, who can capable of doing any amount of loans. So their overall amount is 2 crore. But fortunately A is known to me, is my grandson or something, maybe my family or sibling, something, maybe family member. This B is some educated person who is more skill oriented and is a very good entrepreneur. So most eligible. So he must be given 2 crore according to the standards. But unfortunately, since A is known to me, I will give loan to A. Since A is known to me, I will give loan to whom? A. Unfortunately, this A will what happen? After taking the loan, he will become a non-performing asset, because he is not going to do any business. He is not going to invest in any business. He just came here for getting loan, for which I will get some 10 to 20% of commission. So this is how the problem is starting. Nexus. So these are the things why the cooperatives has mostly failed. One is political activity. Second is nexus. The people giving fraudulent loans, etc., etc. Many things are happening. This is the problem with the cooperative agriculture in India. By this is why successful, you know. So everyone would have thought about this, no? Why this is more successful? Yeah, white revolution. Yeah, Amul is most successful cooperative in the world. Private na success. Private na more corruption irukano. Private will be even more corrupted than the government one.
அப்பனா அவங்க அதுல டிரான்ஸ்பரன்சி கம்பேர்ட் டு கவர்மெண்ட்ல வந்துட்டு அதை அக்கௌண்டபிள் ஆக்க முடியாது. ஸோ பிரைவேட்னா அக்கௌண்டபிள்.
Simple. The role of government is negligible into Amul, or Amul does not have any political party membership, which means that if you are a political party member, then Amul will not allow you to contest in elections. Such a democratic body. Simple terms, Amul is one of the most democratic cooperative. It is a farmer-owned, farmer-run cooperative in the country. So all the members are genuine farmers. So not even the Gujarat government cannot enter into this Amul board and all. So no political activity into this Amul board. It is a cooperative but runs like a pakka private body. Amul. What is the full form of Amul? Amul Anand Milk Union Limited. Anand is the name of that particular district. Anand Milk Union Limited. This is called as Amul. And what is the full form of Avin? அமுலுக்கு இப்படி வந்து ஆவின் கொண்டு இருக்கணும்ல. So Amul is more successful because of this only. Most democratic private cooperative. But unfortunately எல்லா cooperative அப்படி இருக்காது. 99% of the cooperative are corrupted one. Only 1% to 10% சொல்லலாம். Who will do that privatization? Government has to do. No, the government is the looting body. How will they do that? ஆவின்ல அவ்வளோ பெரிய ஆவின்லயே they are trying to bring in some political person into the board. Then look what will be they doing in respect to other cooperatives. Cooperatives is a very good body, but was it profitable? They should have made it profitable. It should be competing with Pothys. It should be competing with Kumaran Silks, because all the instead of Sarna stores, people should go to Cooptex actually. But who is going to Cooptex? Who is promoting it? No one is promoting it. But every year government is giving 1,000 crores, 2,000 crores for Cooptex development. So all is corruption. So this is a problem with cooperatives in India. Then comes the Farmers Producers Organization. Anyone know about this organization? Farmers Producers Organization, FP1 சொல்லுவோம். இதனாலும் see same. Even cooperatives also there, procurement cooperatives are there. And what is the difference between cooperatives and Farmers Producers Organization? Any idea? Online Makkal, no activity. Online Makkal ஒன்றும் சவுண்டே இல்லையே. FPO sir. Okay, fine. See, first thing is Farmers Producers Organizations are registered under Companies Act. They are registered under Companies Act. This is the first difference. They are registered under Companies Act. I told you cooperatives are registered under Cooperatives Act. Now they are registered under what? Companies Act. This is the first difference. And it is a homogeneous group. It is a homogeneous group. For example, cooperatives, anyone giving to the capital will become the owner of that particular cooperative. But in Farmers Producers Organization, only small and marginal farmers can become owners. It is not open for medium or large farmers. So only small and marginal farmers are the owners of Farmers Producers Organization, which means that they are all more homogeneous in nature. And again, it is a very small group. Cooperatives have thousands and thousands of owners, but Farmers Producer Organization are relatively very small in size when it comes to ownership. Very, very small. And it is regulated by a body called Small Farmers Agri Business Consortium. SFAC. Sorry, SFAC. Small Farmers Agri Business Consortium. SFAC. Small Farmers Agri Business Consortium. It is under the Ministry of Agriculture. So this will be the regulatory body. Farmers Producers Organization. Then how this is different from cooperatives? See, I told you there are members there are members. So they elect the board. Since it is a private, this is not called board, this is called as board of directors. Board of directors. In that I told you cooperative board. Now they are all board members. Now they are called as board of directors. In cooperatives I told you they are board members. But this is a private company. This is a private company because it is registered under where? Companies Act. So Companies Act now this FPO must run like a company only, like a organization, private organization. So here all those persons will be called as board of directors who are elected from the members will be called as board of directors, will be called as board of directors. From this one person will be selected as CMD, chairman and managing director, will be elected as chairman and managing director. So all these are elected persons. From all these board of directors, one person will be elected what? Chairman and managing director. One of the beauty of this farmers producer organization, no political intervention. No political intervention. So if you are a member of a political party, which means that here no political affiliation must be there for a particular member. So no political intervention will be there because it is like a private company. I told you it is like a private company. So no political persons can enter into this political body, I mean this democratic body. So it is more of a private company and more of a democratic body, more of a democratic body. So that is the advantage of farmers producers organization. Farmers producers organization. Fine. Then what are the problems with respect to farmers producers organization? Any idea? Enna problems irukkalam when it comes to farmers producers organization? The first problem is running a company by farmers. Do you think it is possible? See, farmers must run the organization like a company. They must have bookkeeping. They must have management skill. Do you think Indian farmers are possible of doing these things? Do you think we have management skills? But rich farmers cannot be the member of this. No, they are only small and marginal farmers can be members. No rich farmers are there. Then what about management skills? What about bookkeeping and all? They should do auditing. They must be doing auditing. They must be doing auditing. So the knowledge is very limited of Indian farmers. That because of this limited knowledge of Indian farmers, running a farmers producers organization like a company is not at all possible, or it is very, very difficult. But for that there is a single provision in the act. For example, this is the board of governors. This is the board of governors. This is the board of governors. All are elected members. All are elected members. Fine. The FPO rules says that if the board of directors are willing, they can induct some private members. They can nominate. So they are not elected, they are nominated members. They are nominated members. Who are these nominated members? Not educated. They are from some private companies board of directors. For example, Nandan Nilekani, who is a CMD of some company, Infosys, right? So he can become a private member here. Why Nandan Nilekani is selected? Because he has a rich experience running a company. So now he can give the expertise to whom? This private body or this farmers producers organization. I'm just telling for an example. Nandan Nilekani அப்படி யாரும் கிடையாது. For example, Ratan Tata, he can be nominated here for giving expertise, or Infosys chairman Narayana Murthy. So like this person can be elected here like board of governor for just giving knowledge sharing. But unfortunately, this is the problem of, or this is a loophole. For example, normally a private run organization employee will be with only one thing. What is that? Profit motive. But here it is not profit motive alone. Here it is more of a welfare and profit motive. So this farmers producer organization has two things. One is welfare. Second is profit motive. Cooperative also has the same thing. But private companies do not have this welfare. They have only one motive. What is that? Profit motive. And not only that, they have some vested interest. What is this vested interest? See, remember, all are the persons, farmers, who are not having proper knowledge, but this person is more knowledgeable. Suppose if he is coming with some vested interest or some with corruptive minds, what will happen? He will have some nexus with some farmers. Yes or no? Finally, he will collapse the entire farmers producers organization. That is the biggest problem, because this private player, if he is corrupted or if he is with some vested interest, then what will happen to the future of this board of directors, or what will happen to this future of this farmers producers organization? That is the biggest question mark, because one thing, farmers are lacking knowledge. Suppose if they are inducting someone for knowledge, then what this person will do in terms of the future? The same thing is happening for civil servants also. What is that? Lateral entry concept. Suppose who is the lateral entry? A person who is a member of some private companies, who is in the top level management. Suppose if he is entering into joint secretary of some government department, for example agriculture joint secretary. So this person has been working as what? A private secretary, now joined as government secretary, but his motive will be always what? Profit. But a government secretary will have what motive? Welfare or democracy. But for him, is democracy or welfare is not a problem. For him, what? Profit will be the motive. So here his objective and mission are different. This government person's objective and missions are different. So there is a big clash of conflict, a conflict of interest. This is a problem why lateral entry or this type of inducting private persons into a democratic body is always a highly risky one. Rumba risky, because these persons are motives are different. Our motives are very different. So when we enter into a system, or when a corrupted body person enter into a system, that person can collapse the entire structure. Because again, as told you, capitalism. Capital means purila. Capital is also problem. See, capital by small and farmers won't be adequate, but assume that there are many farmers joined together, that capital will be adequate. It's like onion dialogue கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? 5 பைசா தின்னா தப்பா? 5 தடவை 5 பைசா தின்னா 5 கோடி தான், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு டைலாக் வரும் இல்லையா? அந்த மாதிரி தான். ஸ்மால் கேபிட்டல் சேர்ந்தா தான் பெரிய கேபிட்டல் வரும், அந்த மாதிரி தான். So it will be adequate when they all join together. For example, 100 small and marginal farmers are joining, 200 small and marginal farmers are joining. So yeah, it will be a big huge capital. I told you it's a like cooperative. It is not a big size body. It is only a small size body, which means that 100 people, 200 people will be the members or owners. So அந்த அளவுக்கு தான் they will be doing business also. So அந்த அளவுக்கு தான் profit இருக்கும். So that is more sufficient for them, because the capital is very less now. The profit will be also very less, but that will be sustainable. That will be sustainable. That is the reason why we are going for farmers producers organization. But again, this is also risky, because all these bodies, you know, the problem is appellate tribunal. We don't have any separate appellate tribunal to solve the disputes. We don't have any appellate tribunal to solve the disputes. Suppose cooperatives are failing, what we will do? We will go to a police station, then we have to file a case, then we have to say the legal proceedings. Suppose if there is a separate appellate tribunal, then we can go there, we can get quicker justice. But in both cooperatives as well as in FPO, no quicker justice possible, because we don't have any appellate tribunal. This is the biggest problem. Then in farmers producers organization, no success stories of huge, like Amul mari inga or success stories innu illa, and it is only a fresh concept. We do not know what will be the future of 10 years from now. It again may become a second phase of cooperatives. We do not know what is going to come. So these are the problems with farmers producers organizations. Success stories namakku enna perusa illa, like Amul etc. Fine. The third and important thing is contract farming. What do you mean by contract farming? This will be the last topic of the day. What do you mean by contract farming? FPOs maybe different name la irukum, but I don't know whether it has been implemented in any countries. I'm not sure, but in India it has been implemented in all the states. But there are only isolated success. But it is a brainchild of Nirmala Sitharaman. Last 2 to 3 years, Nirmala Sitharaman has been pioneering this movement, FPOs as an alternative for cooperatives. That is the reason why we may expect a question on FPOs in the year next year. Yeah, they may work as an entrepreneur, farmer, agreement, good. So contract farming, good. So earlier we do not have a separate act for contract farming. Earlier we do not have a separate act for contract farming. Normally contract farming was directed through respective state APMC Act. So we will see APMC next class, but note down that earlier we do not have a dedicated contract farming act. Earlier means 2020 க்கு முன்னாடி வரைக்கும், before 2020, because now we have 3 formulas, no. Under that, contract farming has been made as a one of the body under one of the act. But earlier 2020 we do not have a dedicated act for contract farming. Only they are all registered under what? APMC Act. APMC Act, respective state APMC Act. Second, contract farming means, as you told, it is an agreement. It is an agreement between, one is farmer, second one is what? A business people. So this person is called as promoter. This person will be called as promoter. So it is a agreement between farmers on one side and promoter on the other side. So contractual agreement. So why we are going for contract? To protect the farmers. To protect the farmers. To protect the farmers. Suppose if the contract is not properly implemented, the farmers can go to what? Court, remedy. So only after passing this latest act, Contract Farming Act, we will discuss that in the next class, but take note, since it is a formal group, we have to discuss this here. So when there is a breach of contract, we can go to the court. Understand that either way it is possible. Either farmers can go to court or even the promoter can go to court. This is very important. Normally we always see only from the point of view of whom? Farmer. But unfortunately, even promoters are also having the complete leverage of going to the court. For example, there was a case, beautiful case in Supreme Court, where some farmers of Gujarat versus PepsiCo. You know PepsiCo? PepsiCo company, right? Which manufactures Lay's chips. Have you all eaten this? Lay's chips. So this Lay's chips, yeah, this Lay's chips is grown from a particular variety of potato. It is called as FL5. This is a variety of potato used for this Lay's chips. This Lay's chips. So the PepsiCo has gone for a contract with the Gujarat farmers. But unfortunately, some 11 farmers of that particular contract, they went off of that contract. And what they decided, they started to grow their own potato variety, which was similar to what? FL5. So that variety is not PepsiCo's variety. But they found that this FL5 is similar to the local variety, what they grew some 100 years before, 200 years before. What they did, they started to grow that variety, and that they marketed it to some other local entrepreneurs. So we have, like Lay's, we also see many other local chips now. So they sold it to some other people, so who may be a rival of PepsiCo. So this PepsiCo initiated a case against these farmers on the Supreme Court of India. Supreme Court of India. Then the Gujarat government intervened, the government of India intervened, then they talked with PepsiCo, and the farmers were asked not to grow that particular potato variety, and the PepsiCo also withdrew the case. So earlier we do not have any Contract Farming Act to protect either farmers or PepsiCo, but now we have a beautiful act for contract farming to protect both the promoter as well as the farmers, because such situations should not happen again. In which state became the first state to pass the Contract Farming Act? Any idea? Which state becomes the first state to pass the Contract Farming Act? Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is the first state to. So in 2018 we passed a Tamil Nadu State Cooperative Farming Act. Tamil Nadu State Cooperative. Odisha, Gujarat, no. Tamil Nadu. Vamshi, you were right. Vamshi, you've been silent for a long time. Normally, you will be speaking very lot. What happened? You will look very tired. For a long time, I don't see any answers from you. Good. So, Tamil Nadu is the first state to start a contract farming act. Why? Anyone know what is the reason? Some 3 to 4 years before, have you heard about this koli? This called as Emu koli. Emu koli in the western part of Tamil Nadu, Tarapuram, Erode, Namakkal, and the region, what happened? They sold this Emu koli as a biggest nutrition support. இது சாப்பிட்டா எல்லா கேன்சரும் சரியாயிடுது, ஹெச்ஐவி சரியாயிடுதுன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு பயங்கரமா ப்ரொமோட் பண்ணாங்க. இது சாப்பிட்டா எல்லாமே சரியாயிடுது அப்படின்ட்டு. இப்போ all farmers of that area went for this contract. Finally, that MNC, not only one MNC, all the MNC of this EMU, they only ran away. அப்போ கடைசியில் எல்லாம் ஈமு கோழி என்னாச்சுன்னா அப்படியே ஃபீல்டில் ஃபார்மர்ஸ் விட்டுட்டு they all were perished. அந்த ஃபீல்ட்லேயே செத்து போச்சு. So only after that incident, the farmers, to protect the farmers of Tamil Nadu state government came with what? This contract farming act. Okay, Vamshi, no problem. Fine. So only because of that EMU scam, because every contractor on fine night they ran away. We do not know actually what happened, and no one was also arrested also. We do not know what happened to that case also. But unfortunately, who are the sufferers? The local innocent farmers were the sufferers, because they all invested so much money on this EMU. Since this EMU is relatively new to the Indian system, Tamil Nadu system, no one were also eager to buy that also. So marketing was also a big problem. So everyone just left the EMU like a pest. So they all perished. That is the reason why government Tamil Nadu became the first state to pass the contract farming act. So unfortunate side on the farmers also. So promoters ko nama pesanum. We should also talk from the side of the farmers also. So remember, as a UPSC aspirant, you should talk from either side. That's very important. When you see cooperatives, you should also talk about the owners as well as the members as well as the consumers. So you should take a issue and see 360 degree. So if you are talking about particular law, you should also talk from the point of the government, point of the people also. Normally, நம்ம people மட்டுமே பேசிட்டு விட்டுருவோம். We will forget the bigger one, because we always think that the corporates are bad, the MNCs are bad. அப்படி ஒரு கான்ட்ராக்ட் யூபிஎஸ்சி அப்படி பேச முடியாது இல்லையா? Because you are a policy maker. You should see either side of the coin, right? So PepsiCo was good in that actually. But unfortunately, who did the mistake? Indian farmers did the mistake. Instead அவங்க breach பண்ணாம போயிருக்கணும், தனியா போய் பண்ணிருக்கலாம். But they were already in the contract and they were also breaching the contract. Again, the problem is on whom? The farmers. So this was the problem. So with this we can wind up the session. So any doubts we can discuss here, or anyone can ask also. Why contracts were not enforceable before the current contract farming act? Because we don't have a dedicated contract farming act. We don't have a dedicated act. So everything has to be routed through APMC act, which means that when that contract is failing, then where will you seek the remedy? That is the biggest problem. See, when you don't have a regulatory body or regulatory mechanism, how to seek justice? That is the biggest problem. That new act and what is the problem with the contract farming act, everything we will be seeing in the next class. The new act we will see next class. Don't worry, I will see because we don't have time now. We will discuss all those act next class exclusively. The problems with contract farming also we will discuss next class. Don't worry. So far, what has been taken? If you have any doubts, you can ask me. So far. Any doubts? I didn't discuss about book list. Okay, fine. Okay, I will give you the booklets. So for materials, please go through the Indian agriculture, what we had given you as a green book. Just use it as a reference material in support of the classroom material what we are discussing, just as a support. Don't go through it completely because it is under 200 page book. So if you start go through, it will be again a big time investment on that, which is not so profitable. So just use it as a reference material. Second, you should read economic survey, not only for agriculture but for all the chapters. You should read economic survey. For example, economics படிக்கணும், environment படிக்கணும், society படிக்கணும். So in that you also have an exclusive chapter on agriculture, so that you must read. But unfortunately, reading economic survey is not easy because it is a 900 page volume. So I would request you to either watch some videos of some institutions. For example, ஏதாவது institutions போட்டிருப்பாங்க economic survey ஓட gist. So either watch that videos, or there are some books in the market where both the volumes has been given in just 100 or 200 pages. Buy that and read it. So without reading economic survey, please don't go to exam hall, because direct questions will not come from economic survey, but that economic survey will be beneficial in eliminating the answers. So you can eliminate some 2 to 4 answers based on economic survey. Sometimes direct questions varalam, we do not know. For schemes, agriculture schemes, IAS Parliament may come with some a comprehensive of schemes. So that you must study, not only for agriculture, for all the important topics like science and technology, environment, so society and economics. For everything you should read the schemes. For that, agriculture schemes also very important. Definitely one agriculture scheme may come. So what certain things. Then this book you should read completely. I will give you the name of that book. It's an NCERT book. It's very easy to read, just 150 pages. So that you can use that as a reference, not as a book for agriculture. Sure, for helping on in the Google page on the display ஆக மாட்டேங்குது பாருங்களேன். இது அங்க டிஸ்ப்ளே பண்ணுங்க. F8 okay, thanks. So this book, so in the book you should read completely except one chapter. It is called animal science. Except that chapter, this is freely downloadable in Google. So introductory agriculture இந்த இது போட்டிங்கன்னா அப்படியே டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். நம்மளோட சிலபஸ் அப்படியே இதில் இருக்குது. இட் இஸ் என்சிஆர்டி புக். இட்ஸ் என்சிஆர்டி புக் released by CBSE. உங்களுக்கு கிடையாது இது. It is for vocational group. This is for a vocational group. நீங்க படிச்சீங்களா? அப்படியா தெரியல, but this is for vocational group. So this is a must read book. This is a must read book except for the chapter animal science. Except for the chapter animal science, you should read the book completely. Please read the book completely. It's very easy, just 150 pages. If you read that, if you leave that animal science, it will be around 130 pages only. So you can go through it completely. So agriculture க்கு இதோட பெஸ்ட் மெட்டீரியல் கிடையாது. ஏன்னா NCERT you know the simple language இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அது ரொம்ப சிம்பிளாக தான் இருக்கும். So you can read it very effectively. So go through this. So other than this, நம்ம நோட்ஸ் மட்டுமே போதுமானது. அதுக்கு மேல வந்தா எல்லாம் மேல இருக்கவன் பார்த்துப்பான் அவ்வளோதான். எல்லாம் மேல இருக்கவன் பார்த்துப்பான்ட்டு போயிட்டே இருக்க வேண்டியதுதான். ஃபைன். With this we can conclude. So you can go and come by 5 o'clock for the next session. You have a next session, right? Okay. Thank you. Fine. All the best. Watch Karnan. Karnan movie is good. Not, I will not say it's too extraordinary, but it's good. ரெஃப்ரெஷ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஒரு மாதத்துக்கு ஒரு படமாவது பார்க்கலாமே. படமே பார்க்காமலாம் உட்காந்துருக்கீங்க. கோவிட்னால தாங்கிறீங்களா? யூபிஎஸ்சினாலன்னு சொன்ன மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு ஸ்டார்டிங்கில். தேங்க்யூ தட்சணா. டேக் கேர். ஸோ ஹாப்பி வீக்கெண்ட் முடிஞ்சு போச்சா? ஓகே.